Alright, everybody. Welcome to my unboxing video of the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. This is an Oracle deck. It comes with its own guidebook and it's written and illustrated by Kim Kranz. So I'm a little late to the game here. I think most people have heard or seen this deck, at least this box, because it is stunning. And I feel like, you are seeing a lot of the color, but it's just not even fully doing it justice here on the camera, which this is so fun. And I guess I always thought this was part of the box, but it actually turns out it's kind of a sleeve. But so it's on the top here, and then we have this side, and then on the back, welcome to the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit, you will find within, and it has this little doodle here mapping everything out. So the box is kind of its own thing. 63 total cards in this deck, and then there's a 208-page guidebook, so we already know that that's going to be a whole big chunk. It's got a bunch of examples of the cards on the back here and a little blurb down this way. So I'm going to go ahead and take this sleeve off. I just unwrapped it, as you can see. I tend to struggle with getting the plastic off. You don't need to watch that. So, just love this eye. It's just very, I'm watching you. I don't know. I'm into it. But so, since this is a deck that I will be using for myself and possibly some client readings, I'm going to treat this like so. So I'm going to get myself all Florida watered up here and cleansed. Some people don't like the smell of Florida water. I happen to love it, and I feel like it really enhances anything that I'm doing. So this is great, and I just love the kind of color that's happening here. May you always be on the inner quest. Amazing. Have some selenite here to charge with, just as a side note. Okay, wow, yeah, so, he's compact, but chunky nonetheless, and wow, I love these. I am low-key want to get these 4 elements tattooed on my fingers. We shall see. Time will tell. Could be just a quarantine idea, who knows. So let's dive in here. What do you got for us? Woo! Look at this table of contents, man. So it looks like there is quite a bit of information in here before you even get to the deck. Wow. Yeah. Okay, so the ego meets the rabbit. I feel like this is, when I was 11 years old, maybe some kind of introduction, perhaps to the author. Okay, little rabbit equal doodle, hey. Understanding the deck. Long ago. I feel like this is very storybook-esque. I don't know why I'm getting that vibe from this without reading it, really. But I also do really like this font. I feel it just comes off very genuine. I know it's probably, it's obviously a typeface, but I don't know. Natural selection. Ooh, are we talking about Darwinism? Is this real natural selection, or what are we talking about here? Hello. Okay, and then it looks like we go into some descriptions about these different elements and perhaps why certain animals fall into these categories. Talks about the secret 5th element of spirit, which is awesome. We love some spirit. And then using the deck. What's my spirit animal? Can you help me figure that out, book? I would love to seriously know. I've been told by my mother and my therapist it's a hawk, so who's to say? But they're on the same page, I guess. What to ask, when to ask it, caring for your deck, okay? Shuffling and cutting. So I feel like this is a really good book for beginners, who are new to Oracle decks. Like if you're looking for a good first Oracle deck and you're drawn to animals, I think that this would work really well for you. It's got a lot of great information. Deeper insights. So I'm hoping this is where we start with the cards. No, the card order. What are we talking about? The food web. What's a food web? That seems in... Oh, I guess that's a food web. The rabbit's food web. How many food webs are there? Wow, I'm into this. Can't wait to read this. Apex Predators, the Nature Connection. Wow. All right, the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit. I feel like this has got to be the start of the cards. Yes. And so, okay, looks like we're split up by element. And then do we go in alphabetical order? Okay, looks like yes. Oh, maybe not. No, definitely not. Okay, so they're split up by element. And it looks like we have a black and white image on one side. I actually like when images are in black and white. I feel like you can see more detail sometimes in the black and white image than you can on the color. I don't know that we'll have that with these cards because they're pretty black and white anyway. But you see element, looks like it has some key words here. Has its little blurb about the card. When in balance, when out of balance, to bring into balance. So I'm guessing when out of balance is when it's reversed. So we'll use reversals when reading this deck because it is what the artist intended. So I try to honor that. All right, so we will get into this a little later. At the end, we will pull an example card and we'll read what the guidebook has to say. So without further ado, let's dive in here. And I'm so excited. So we got this ribbon. Not really sure about this part of the box, but okay. Ooh, and then, yeah, it's in this other box already, which is cute. And this still has that metallic, and I feel like it's even better on here. Oh, I love this. I will just be staring at this for hours by itself. Ignore me. And then we have our element friends on the back here, so I'm going to go ahead and move the box out of view. I'll get this guy out here. I love that, thank God, these are not in any other form of packaging. No plastic involved. Good on you, the Wild Unknown, truly. All right, so let's take these bad boys out of here. All right, so these are a great size. I mean, they're traditional, you know, tarot size, oracle deck size. You will have no problem shuffling them. Traditionally, like I said, these are my cards that I will be using. So as I unbox them, I'm going to cleanse them as I normally would if I was by myself. So don't mind me for a second here. Just going to thank this deck for entering my life and helping enlighten any part of my journey that it can, and that I love it and welcome it wholeheartedly. So let's get this all going. And out here real quick, get it all in there. Yeah. All right, we love some sage. Okay, so these are the card backs. They pretty much match kind of like this part of the box. It's kind of snake skinny, but I like it. It's very simple. It's very clean. I feel like it's kind of chic and modern, to be honest. So I'm into it. But we flip it over. And so, ooh, we are already getting like little peaks of color. But as you can see, it is mostly black and white with just little accents and highlights of color. So without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and dive on into this. So up first, we have the bear. And I just like how this symbol is up here in the sun. And the way this comes out, I have a tattoo of a sun on my ankle, and this kind of reminds me a little bit of it. It's not that intense, but yeah, he looks cuddly. He's not a bear I'm afraid of. I'm not concerned for my life with this bear. He's like a teddy bear, but in real life. So we'll always take that. Cool. Oh, I'm gonna flip him over. So sorry. Okay, and then we have an earthworm. And I just love this. It's like the earthworm is making this portal almost as it wraps around itself. And we have this tie-dye kind of image in here. Watercolor tie-dye type thing going on. I dig that. As a child, I was very into animals. I saved up my money so I could buy this animal like encyclopedia that's, I don't know, that big. And I just loved animals. I thought I was going to be an animal, like some form of marine biologist or something having to do with animals. And then theater happened and arts happened, and I wandered off to a different life that I'm very grateful for and love so much. But still, a different life nonetheless. And I feel like recently I've been really called back to animals, but I have felt disconnected from a lot of them for a while. So I am looking forward to using this deck to connect back with those animal spirits and guides that I feel like were guiding me when I was younger. I want to revisit them. And so here's the mouse, and he's got all these little different colors floating around here in what looks not even rain, like it's kind of rain. It's also like, it just looks like movement, like a portal or shooting stars kind of. So I'm excited to see in a reading. I'm really interested to see how the mouse is viewed in here, because I feel like the mouse can have kind of a bad rap sometimes, to be honest. Maybe that's just my grandmother. And then we have the rabbit. Look at these color lines back here. I love that. And the way the color fades is really nice. All of the detail in this, the whiskers, just the hair, and I look at this and I feel very alert, I guess. I feel like I'm kind of watching, poking up from the grass to see what's going on, but I don't know that rabbit would be alert in the guidebook, so I'm not sure that that is the right feeling for it. But here's a raccoon, and we just had a raccoon on our bird feeder the other day, who was super cute. And I don't think I've seen a raccoon in real life, in daylight, and all of that stuff before. So hopefully he's fine. But so raccoons have been appearing in my life lately, and here's a card of one who just looks so cute. I always think about the raccoon from Pocahontas. Is it Miko? Is that his name? His biscuits. So always down for Miko. We love an animal sidekick for sure. And here's the fox, and I think it's so interesting that they chose to do the color around the fox and not on him. I feel like typically when you see a fox card, they're red foxes just because they're colorful. They're what everybody thinks of when they think of a fox. But yeah, this one kind of has a yellow around him, little like twinge of orange kind of right there on the line. But so this is very bright to me. This is a very positive view of the fox to me. So I am happy for his golden aura that he gets here. Ooh, this snake. And I love how they've done this card here with it wrapping around an egg, a world, a marble. Who's to say? Some kind of geometric pattern that is just magic within itself. And it looks like it's giving off almost this light from itself. So this snake just looks like magic, honestly. That's what it looks like. And I love this card. This is a card I've seen prior to purchasing this deck. And I just adore the watercolor pink and purple of the sky with the lightning bolt cutting through it. I just think that's amazing. And with this, I don't know what it is about buffalo heads, but like just seeing them, they're such massive beautiful creatures, and I just am so awestruck when I see a face of theirs. And so struck by lightning, also awestruck by the buffalo. There's a lot happening here for me, and it just feels like a very powerful card. So I would love to know more about this card and can't wait to find out. We'll see if it's one we pull later. So funny story, so the day that this deck was delivered to me, I social distance met up with a friend and who I had no idea did anything tarot, oracle, witchy, wouldn't anything related at all. And they pulled out a very old, well-loved copy of this deck and guidebook. And so I actually did a reading for myself. I got to pull a card and shuffle with this deck the day that I got it, but not my deck. And this lamb is the card I pulled and got to pull it straight up, which was nice. And I love the way it looks. I love the design in the background of this one that just focuses. It's so pure. It's so safe. I mean, pure is really, I think, the word that comes to mind. And I can tell you from the reading that this has to do with like knowing your inner self and working with that. And so a very honorable card to pull for the first time from a deck. And I adore it. It reminds me of the lamb shaped cake that my mom would make every Easter growing up. So moving on to the elk, whose antlers are on fire, the sun's on fire. I don't know, is it I feel like it's the sun because of the coloring, but it could be the moon. Maybe it's a form of an eclipse. Interesting. But yeah, elk. I'm interested to see if there's a moose here because elk and moose are so physically similar. I won't say that they're similar animals because I have no idea. And wow, how lovely is this deer card. I don't know what it is about this coloring with like blues, greens, and yellows, but that just makes me feel so nice. It is warm, it's pretty. I guess I have a thing for water and sun, so anything that mimics those colors together is gonna be in my soft spot. But hi cutie. I just adore deer. Such beautiful animals, such like driven by their sexual desire animals that make them do the stupidest things, but also the sweetest, cutest animals. And any deer I ever see is always going to be Bambi, obviously. So we just love deer always. We have the wolf, lone wolf here, blazing. But again, like, I appreciate that none of these animals, at least yet, like, come off as angry or scary in any way. I think that's really important. With these kind of decks, you know, every artist is unique. For me, in what I intend to use this for, and looking at animals as spirit guides, and what type of energies I should be channeling from this natural realm of other mammals and insects. I think that it's kind of nice that none of them come off as threatening in any way or dangerous or perceived as negative. I do really appreciate that. And here's a spider who, wow, I want to be in the web. I want to be in the rainbow web. That's cool. I really like that they did that and left the spider white. I think that's awesome. I also love that it's a black background with the white spider in that versus inverted. I think that that's a really cool card. I don't even, like, I appreciate spiders. I try to love them. I do not kill them inside my home. But wow, they are not my favorite. So I can appreciate that this card makes me love it. I would love to pull this card. That's awesome. And the horse with the moon there, little moon horse. I think that's a really cool marking to put on there just as we all tend to think. I feel like the classic image of a horse, at least in my mind, and everybody's different because I guess everybody has different relationships with horses in their life, but me having very little relationship with horses, always thinks of a brown horse with maybe like a little white patch there. So instead of a white patch, we get a moon. And honestly, Beyonce vibes from the horse with the hair and the like kind of fan look going on and just killing it, staring you down like, what? What? How can I help you? Don't answer the question. I don't want to help you. That's just kidding. Beyonce's a lovely person and I'm sure she wants to help everybody. Yeah. Anyway, enough about Beyonce. So crocodile, and really, I mean, I guess this sort of, it's not the same eye. It's not by any stretch. I don't know if this eye shows up in the guide or in the deck at all. But similar coloring, which is very, very cool. And I would assume that what is on the front of the box and such is a reptile eye. But he's kind of creepy, but I don't think that I could see a crocodile and not be creeped out, especially when it kind of comes up and smiles a little bit. I feel like this is the only way to make him friendly, but also the only way to make him creepy. Not the only way, but a big way. I still love you, and I want to know what you would signify in my life. I love the Stingray card with the chakras going down the spine in rainbow fashion like they're supposed to. And I just think this is such a cool card, and I know because it's highlighted so much so prominently, this has to be about spine and kind of strengthening your spine. But I'm so interested as to work with this deck and learn more about each of these cards, but especially these animals that I don't have a great relationship with, especially because the Stingray just never always reminds me of Crocodile Hunter and Steve Irwin, and I will never forgive them. Sorry about it. It's just the way it is. I'm just being honest. So here's the fish card, and then we also have the moon, which I think is great. You know, I'm a moon and rising Pisces, so I appreciate the fish card kind of looking like it has this other half somewhere that doesn't exist over here, sort of. And with the moon being tied to water, yeah, I think this is a great card. Love to fish. It looks like it's having a blast jumping perhaps out of the water. And starfish, little golden starfish, which is great. It just pops out so much. And starfish just seems chill. I don't know what the guidebook's going to say, but I feel somewhat comforted by this card for some reason. I do have a really strong tie to the beach and the ocean and all of its creatures, so that could also just be that bias in there, but I just feel really comfortable. Yeah. Ooh. I love the octopus. Look at the color on the top. Yeah. I feel like there's so many different animal decks out there, right, for oracles. And I have another one that I also just got. Of course, I bought two at the same time, because why not? Why not? When in quarantine, right? And, you know, I do feel like each artist's interpretation is very different, particularly in the guidebook that they have of what they ultimately mean. And I find that most of the time, I do agree with what I've been able to kind of like see in the guidebook, an example of card, like online and things like that. And I agree most of the time. I think it's a really great look forward, but I do also kind of feel like in some ways I can't pull a lot of this intuitively, so that's not typical for me, but maybe I'll be proved wrong as I go through here. Maybe it'll be like, oh no, that is what I thought it was. So who knows, but I just really like the artistry in this, and to be honest, I don't like the tarot version of these cards. They do not resonate with me. I don't like the color in black and white layout in that way. It doesn't work for me, but I love it. I love this style in this Oracle deck. So tarot is a no-go. Beaver. But Oracle is a yes for sure. Beaver. I always think of beavers as like building the dams and things, kind of hard workers. Maybe like some of the more professional construction workers of the natural world, debatably. Ooh, an oyster. This is cool. I like this card with a little, again, we have these little specks of color kind of around it, which is so cool. And it almost makes it look like it's like an oyster in space, like floating on constellations instead of on the seafloor. But maybe it's a really dark seafloor. It's got stuff going on. I don't know. But there seems to be light coming out from under here. Oh man, so I tried this for the first time with my cat in here. I'm so sorry. If she makes an appearance on the screen, we'll work with it. She's currently thinking about it. And here's this turtle card, which I love. I was just talking to my mom how I think her spirit animal is a turtle card, or is a turtle, and I feel like she would love this card. This is Eppo, everyone. She always has to be on the table when tarot or oracle cards are out. She's very drawn to them as well, just like her mom. And so this has my mom written all over it, and my mom and I actually have funny stories with turtles because I box turtles when they were endangered. My mom would always stop on the road and pick them up. And she would drive to pick me up from my grandparents' house like she was supposed to be doing with the turtle so I could see it, and then we would drive back to put it safely where it was going. And I feel like that's probably really disorienting and not the best thing for the turtle, but it is a memory that I have with my mom that I treasure and love so much. And so this looks just like those turtles that we would find, and I love that. And I already feel a really special connection with this card, and I love that. Wow. And here's a little frog, and he's green. Green little frog in the rain, little rain frog. Not really a tree frog, some kind of tropical stuff going on. But I mean, I feel like frogs are unbothered by rain. I've never heard of them having any issues with it. So I'm interested to see how this ties in the guidebook to the representation of the frog and their interpretation of it. Look at the honor. What a cutie. Hi, sweetheart. Wow. Otters just are so pure and innocent and like what is good in the world. I feel like, they wrap themselves in seaweed so they don't float away while they sleep on their backs in the water. And they spin and they sound adorable. And all right, I'm overselling otters. So I wouldn't expect anything less. Adorable. As I said earlier, love these kind of color combos. Always very relaxing to me. I'm not sure if that's how the artist interprets them, but anytime this color palette is in existence, it is very soothing and brightening to me. So then, all right, here's like all black and white except for his gums. Wow. Let's talk about some danger zone. Look at that. So yeah, I actually love shark energy, or envisioning what I perceive as shark energy. When I used to work in a white collar office setting with a bunch of men, my favorite thing to do was to walk around as if I were a shark. Just kind of envisioning myself with the power of the shark as I walked, and I feel like that helped a lot. Could be a good exercise. Recommend trying it. I also was told in college that my spirit animal was a sexually mature female shark. Very specifically, there is a story to that. Ask if you want to know, I guess. But so I love shark energy. I've always been very pulled to sharks. I think they're awesome, even though I'm also terrified of them, even though that's not really fair, but it is true for me. So love that. We have our swan, and it's reflected because it's gliding through the water. And again, we have my color combo. I mean, this is just a win. Like, elegance, grace, but you never want to piss a swan off. They are some scary, scary animals to protect what they love. So I wonder if that kind of fierce protection comes up in this card at all. Look at the dolphin. This card is so playful, and I love that because that's exactly what I think about when I think of dolphins. Playful and fun and young and free and smart, intelligent for sure, but like Labrador puppies of the sea, right? Kind of, maybe smarter. Sorry, lab puppy owners. Whale, also very cool. Digging how the rays are kind of coming up. Like I feel like he's going up to the surface, which I like because of their blowholes. But then he also has the purple and pink kind of coming down here. I think he's just a really beautiful card and gliding along so majestically as he should. And okay, specifically fire ant. All right. Wow, these cards are jumping out. Everybody wants to talk. Wait your turn. So fire ant specifically, I have a very strange fear of getting bitten or attacked by a fire ant, multiple fire ants, the whole nest, all of the above. So I am a little freaked out by this card, but that's just because of my own fear in life. I mean, really, it seems like they're being drawn to the fire, like, because they're not red, they're black. They look almost like regular ants being drawn to fire. A different meaning to a fire ant, sort of. But yes, I'm sorry. Eppo is now digging up the closet. I'm going to ignore her. So this is the hyena card, and I don't know if any other millennials can think of hyenas and not think of Lion King, but I can't. So I do definitely have bias in hyenas towards Lion King. I love me a sassy Whoopi Goldberg, but like Ed is so lovable. I also really like how we're at a half moon. And I think that's really cool for the energy of the hyena. I think that that's going to be really relevant in the interpretation. Here she is again. She's back. We're still trucking. So Scorpion, also afraid of ever coming into contact with the scorpion and getting stung that way. I have weird fears, but I love animals. I do. I don't know. Scorpions are something, like, they're kind of in the wasp category for me, where I'm like, I don't know what you were created for other than evil. I don't know what you do for the environment, or any other contribution to society, but, like, cool to have you here. Not kicking anybody out. What's up? But yeah, and I mean, just like that radiate. Whew! I don't want to be stung. Anyway, you go. You stay in the deck. The lizard card. This is the most colorful card we've had, to be honest. The whole thing, the background and the lizard is color. And I love that. I'm glad not all of the cards are like this, but I love it in this card. I always like lizards. I think of all kinds of lizards, but iguanas are something that I really like and have a weird attachment to. And so the way they, change and adapt to match the current environment and landscape they're in so they can be hidden is such a cool thing. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening here. I'm getting sort of that vibe. And wow, okay, the panther. So this is the first one that I feel kind of like, okay, you're a little angry, but we can talk about it. Like, just inside voice. So this one I am feeling very powerful, strength from, but also really wanting to kind of be afraid, kind of push shove moment. Right, and then we have a tarantula. I like it. I dig it. I don't ever want to see one in real life. So we have a spider and a tarantula. same but different. So I'm interested to see how they're different in the guidebook. What do they consider the difference between spiders and tarantulas in particular? Look at this camel with his little blue moon. Isn't that a jazz song, like Blue Moon? Maybe that's Double Moon. Maybe there's both. Who knows? But the camel is awesome. I think camels are cool. It doesn't show you if it's a 1 or 2 hump camel. We'll just have to guess. But I wonder, honestly, I wonder how, I'm sure clearly that was very purposeful, but I'm wondering how purposeful was it there? Was it just the angle they decided to go with? A gazelle, leap like a gazelle. Gazelles are so graceful and balanced, and everything I'm not. No, that's not true. But I just think the world of gazelles, honestly, I will watch them do their little rock climbing stuff all day long. Or run. Yeah, I guess they run. I will just watch them. They're graceful, very poised. And here's a cheetah, and you just get the feeling of the motion of how fast this guy is going right now with the spirals and it being such a hot color. And I mean, it's true, like, I mean, their environment is really hot. So hot, fast, speed, cheetah. What else is there? What else can we associate with cheetah? Guidebook, tell me, because speed is the one. Tiger. This tiger, for whatever reason, is so intimidating to me. I love tigers. And I don't know, I think it's this that kind of gives him almost like this Joker type vibe going on, of a smile type deal. But I'm afraid of this tiger. Like, look at this smoke and the clouds behind him. His element sign is on fire. Do you see that? Yeah. Ooh. I'm afraid of this card. That does not happen often. I'm really not afraid of any cards. This might be the first card that I'm kind of like, I'm a little nervous about what you say. So we will get there when we get there. Ooh, will today be my time? I love this. I don't know. I love it. I don't know why. I do. I think I really like when they do the background in color and the animal in white. I think there's just something that I am really into about that. But it's just so detailed, and like, I want to talk to the cobra. I feel like it has something to tell me. Wise one, what? What? What can you bestow on me? And is this a kind of like, if I tell you I have to kill you situation, because then I'm going to have to think about it. So then we're moving on to the zebra, and she's got this funky little third eye triangle of tie-dye watercolor going on, which I think is really interesting, as it's the same triangle up here, but it's totally black. Yeah, zebras, zebras I have like a weird thing with, just because of a book I read as a kid called Zinc. I don't know if anybody else read that. Let me know if you did, but triggered, very triggered. It's not great. It has to do with a kid and cancer, and it's not fun. Anyway, so maybe this will help me develop a better relationship with zebras. Though I think they're rad as they are. And look at this lion, who is just the most stoic. This looks like a statue, a lion statue. Wow. With the savannah, like, pride colors in the background. Yes, daddy. Feel like I don't really get Mufasa vibes. I get like young on the throne Simba vibes from this card, but still just like lovely. Yeah. Whoa, an elephant holding fire? What? And we have this little dot up here, which almost seems kind of like just a note on culture, but I'm not sure if that is really the full intention here. But, you know, I think when we think of trunks and elephants, a lot of times, you know, they pick things up for sure, but they also can take in so much water through that. So seeing the fire down here being what the trunk is wrapped around is a little throwing to me, but so intriguing, and I want to know more. And it looks like maybe this tusk has been broken, like perhaps like poachers, which is really sad. So yeah, and this almost makes me feel circusy. Like, I don't know if it's culture or if it's like a circus reference, like it would be dressed up. I kind of feel like there would be more colors if it was circusy. But perhaps a comment on cruelty. I don't know. I'm pulling out a lot of things here, so probably just best to consult the guidebook later. Wow, I love Luna moths. Luna moths are a thing in my life. I don't know what they symbolize, but they are a symbol and they are something to me. So I love that this moth card is a Luna moth. I mean, just how beautiful. Like, the tails on the wings get me every time. And their little, like, bunny ears. I always think they look like small bunnies with wings. And that's how I think of Luna moths. Wow, I just adore this. And the coloring's perfect. It's flawless. I'm so glad they colored the Luna moth. And they go into butterfly. And this is not, I guess, what I was expecting for the butterfly. Though it makes sense and it fits the theme. I guess I thought there would be maybe some more color in the wings. Like perhaps the color would be the actual wings and the dots might be like the black, but I don't know. But yeah, this doesn't scream renewal to me. This doesn't scream the usual things I pull from butterfly cards or cards that incorporate butterflies into them. So I'm interested to see what the interpretation of this one is. Look at this bat with his wings. Hi. Hello. With your moon in the background. Hi. Wow. It's just very exciting. It's very exciting. I don't know why I turned the card over like that just now. To obviously all the backs are the same. It's not going to be different. But yeah, I don't know what it is about this card. I love them. I love bats. I think bats are the cutest animal ever. Little tiny white ones. Have you ever seen them? Though vampire bats and the way they walk on two legs is terrifying to me. But all their bats, I love you. You're adorable. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. And look at this firefly. And so tiny. So mighty. So strong. Like, look at these colors. I love this firefly. I feel like you don't normally see firefly animal spirits, but it's such, I mean, for so many of us, especially I feel like on the East Coast, I don't know about anywhere else, but East Coast is what I know. You know, it's like it's so nostalgic to have the firefly of the summer and just the warmth and running around and catching them and letting them go and the little lanterns in the sky. And so many colors. Like, I love everything about this card. It really works for me. Yeah, I just feel great about that. And look at this bee. Again, this color palette that I love. And I love bees. I for sure used to be, not gonna lie, I was that person who was terrified of bees and ran away from any form of buzzing sound I ever heard as a child. And now that they're endangered and I know about them and understand them, I want to protect them at all costs. And it's like, hey, hi, hello, can I help you? Do you need anything? Can I pull the car around? Some AC? You want water? Where can I take you? Like, let me help you. And so, very into this bee card. I'm sure that I'm going to love whatever the guidebook says about this. This just makes me feel happy. This makes me feel, I get a little yellow glow, like kind of in my heart chakra a little bit when I see that. And hummingbirds. Look at the hummingbird. I like that the hummingbird has the rainbow too. So accurate. I mean, they are so lovely. Such lovely animals. I mean, how can you see a hummingbird and not be happy or interested or cool? I mean, they just spark interest and they're so fascinating and rare and hard to find. Like, they're just great. So I love this. I'm glad that the hummingbird is included. We are happy to have you. here we have the vulture, which has a little bit of like purple smoke kind of coming off of him, which is rad. Also always think of the Jungle Book vultures, and that is not the vibe that I get from this vulture, which is probably good. It's probably good I don't get the Jungle Book vulture vibes. Very serious. Very serious. I feel like this is kind of like lecture time, or like, okay, like you're coming out of some shit type deal. So, a little nervous, but everything is always already present. You're just illuminating your knowledge of it. We have a crow, and as we witches know, we always just say we're like crows because we pick up all the shiny baubles and bits on walks and such. And you know, it has this little marble seed maybe it has in its feet, that has this kind of portal type tie-dye watercolor thing we've seen in a few other cards. So I'm interested to see like how these tie together. I'm wondering how I can pull portal information from all the cards that have those. And here's the owl. Of course we have an owl. Who cannot? Hedwig, hey. You know, just such a symbol for, you know, traditionally being wise. They also can be pretty scary. Like, I don't want to mess with these people. I feel like the owl mafia exists for sure. But again, we have this kind of like raining light happening. And this one, it's all rainbowy. It's all got colors in it. So this is a really beautiful card, and I just feel like this is kind of divine knowledge raining down. So that's my interpretation of it. We'll see when we get in there what the artist intended. But that is what I feel. And then we have this dragonfly, which is so cool. Dragonflies, I feel like I tend to see them a lot during their mating season, and you never really get to appreciate the light through their wings that way because they're busy doing other stuff, and like, you know, good for them, like sex positive, but still. So, I mean, I love, nothing to me is more beautiful than the light through a dragonfly wing. You just get so many colors, and it's just gorgeous. A nightingale. How cool is that to have a nightingale, a very specific bird that I'm not sure shows up. I mean, as far as I'm aware, I have not ever seen this in a deck as a nightingale. And it's very interesting how people can connect to this. And I love how it's like all of this darkness, but then where it's speaking and singing, it's clearing and it's white and pure. And I'm not sure, like, is it on, I'm not sure what it's on. Is it on like a mailbox? Is it on the earth? What is it on? I don't know, but it seems to show some kind of purifying or illuminating the way using your voice type deal. And here's a peacock, and like, I appreciate that they don't incorporate the traditional peacock feathers. You get the head, and I mean, you get these feathers, but not like the traditional tail feathers. So to me, you know, the most impressive thing, that's what people think of with peacocks, is the tail. So I think it's very intentional to do the head and gives you a different vibe than maybe how normally they show off, kind of. I think that tends to be a typical perception. Also, just a note, I like how it's matte on these cards. You know, nothing is like overly shiny, which is so polar opposite of the box. But I just like that. I like that there's no light. I just appreciate no real glare on the cards, just a personal preference. But yeah, I feel like this is going to be a different peacock than most. And then here is the hawk. And this is, yeah, this is the one that my therapist and mom think is my spirit animal, because they say that I see everything and I'm very close attention to detail, which, like, thank you, but can also be bad. But we've worked on that. It's a continued conscious effort because we're always growing and striving for better. But yeah, so that is what I think of when I think of the hawk, is the attention to detail. I used to think of that long before I considered the predator aspect, but it is typically a pretty large predator. So very, very intrigued by that. And we have an eagle right after it, which is so powerful. And kind of coming down to this light ball, which I don't know if it's supposed to be a sun or just like something magical, but it's giving off a ton of light. And the eagle is coming down to collect it and pick it up, it looks like, or at least come sit next to it. Maybe it's an egg. Maybe it's its egg. I don't know. I mean, you can pull so much from this. I think it's just really strong card, strong imagery in that. Wow, I didn't know there was a phoenix in here, and I just got the most happy. Also, apparently we're now into the spirit, and look, it's cold. It has the outside box. I love that. Yay, Spirit. Spirit is such a cool one. I love phoenixes. It was my college mascot, but I also, prior to that, I just find so much strength and connection to the phoenix, and I love everything about its message and what it stands for. So I'm so thrilled to have a phoenix card in this deck. Yeah, I'm just over the moon about that. Yeah, they all are like that with the circle, how they're like, I think, yeah, they all are. So we're in our last few here, guys. Appreciate you hanging on if you have. So here's a sea serpent, and this is kind of set up the same way like the snake is, but instead of having that like magical geometry in its side with the colors, it's this eye looking type thing, also kind of like maybe a fountain type deal. I don't know, but it's a different kind of thing in there. Same but different. I know I said that twice, but here we are, judge away. I prefer judgment-free zone, but I'm not everybody, so. All right, here we go. This is what is on here, but the eye is not colored in, which is interesting to me, but I love the color on the background of this, so I don't even care. Always a sucker for a rainbow, majority of my favorite color palette, and the dragons are so special. My cat, Eppo, if you had seen her eyes, has these really crazy colored eyes. Honestly, they're like the color of this book. Now I'm thinking about it. Really like the color of this book. Okay, anyway, it's something I'll do later. But I always call her Baby Dragon and Dragon Eyes because of that. So I love that this is the dragon card. I hardcore relate to that and have a connection with that. And dragons are just so cool and rad and inspiring and magnificent and strong. I'll stop gushing about dragons. Okay. Ooh, the golden egg. Willy Wonka? No. Golden goose eggs? Beanstalk? Yeah, I know. Okay, yeah, I knew that there's 3 egg cards in here. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull them out separately now. Because there's these 3 eggs. There's the cosmic egg, which has that portal tie-dye rainbow feel going on, watercolor. The black egg, which just looks so beautiful, like one of those, I don't know what they're called now, but the very fancy, delicate porcelain eggs, and the golden egg. I have no idea what any of these mean, and I'm so excited to look them up in the guidebook. I've seen them, these 2 in particular, I think show up a lot online as images from the deck, and every time I've been like, but what does it mean? What does it mean? And now even still with the golden egg, I still don't get that. So I'm very excited to see what the eggs mean. And that means our last card, since we jumped ahead with all those, is the unicorn, which is perfect. And I love that we're ending on this for the deck. The moon, the full moon in the background that is just raining magic and is so muted, like pinky, yellow, blue, rainbow. And I mean, I love unicorns. Who doesn't love unicorns? It's an immediate callback to your childhood and mysticism and wonder, and it makes total sense that it's on the spirit element. So yes, so that's the whole deck, you guys. We made it. We done did it, kids. So real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle these, which these already brand new, right out of the box, shuffling like a dream, to be fully honest with you. This is lovely. So I'm gonna shuffle these up here, set kind of an intention, just whatever it's going to offer me as far as guidance today. Or I guess I should do maybe guidance for all of us, but and then we will take a peek in the guidebook at what it says about that particular card, and that'll be that. So while I'm finishing up shuffling here, please let me know if you have any feedback for things that I could do to make these videos better, more interesting to you. That's embarrassing. Not really. Everybody fumbles, but hey. You know, whatever tips you have for me, totally open to critiques and want them so I can get better. Also, you know, any questions you have, anything you want to know about the deck, or just anything in general, like DM me. You know, I'm Emily, I'm Honey and Ivy on Instagram for my personal, Ivy and Honey for my witch blog. It's just flipped. And yeah, okay. All right. Stop shuffling, Emily. Here we go. So we are pulling Fire Ant, the one that I was like, excuse me out, of course. Hey. Oh God, what are you here to tell me? All right, so it's gonna flip through here, and it's obviously a fire sign. All right, let's get in here. Fire Ant first, one in there. All right, so there's black and white image. I'm gonna just put this up here so you can have it in color. Fire Ant, aggression, rigid thinking, following orders. Fire Ant energy flares up without us noticing. It's the force that attracts us to people and situations that feed our imbalances rather than those that counter them. Gossiping and blaming are a few indicators, can't talk, that misaligned Fire Ant energy is at play. You may also find yourself stewing on a person or situation, only making things worse. How can you break free from the drama and cool down? I'm laughing because I'm getting myself red right now. Fire ants are surprisingly sensitive. Don't pretend the heat isn't getting to you. So when in balance, which I did pull it right side up, it says that thoughtful and disciplined. And then when out of balance, argues, excess heat, gossips, to bring into balance, solo time, walks at night. I think that's a really cool little, like, take a walk at night, cool off. I think it's cool. So I did pull it right side up, so it's thoughtful and disciplined, but I do feel like I have some personal things going on with a friend I can think of in particular, where this blurb fully applies to me. So I'm going to have to think on that and use that, but wow, immediately working for me. And I also felt like when I pulled the Lamb card, with the first time I did a reading with this deck, like it was very spot on and in there. So thank you guys so much for watching this. If you're still here, I hope you enjoyed it. You know, DM me. I'm happy to talk to you about any and everything, especially involving tarot. So love you guys. Stay safe, happy, and healthy, and I'll talk to you later.